It all started by my dad was, when my grandpa came over to Vietnam for starting with the Vietnam War. And it wasn't that easy because that's when he met my grandma. And the time where my grandma gave birth to my grandma wasn't proud of it. She saw it as it was dishonoring the family. So she abandoned my dad. And my dad was a mixed child in Vietnam. And the fact that the communists did not like mixed children, so what they would do is they will get the children and put them to either hard labor in a camp or they will murder the child. So what happened was my dad was abandoned and another woman picked up my dad, and her husband did not like my dad at all. So what happened was my dad, and like she would, every single time the communists would come around, my foster grandma, she would take dirt and rub it on my dad's face and hair. So my dad natural hair color, like light brown, and his mixed color face, they will not be shown, and it would just look like my dad is either playing in the dirt or something. And my foster grandmother dad, the fact that she didn't like my dad, he didn't like my dad, basically he would tell my dad to either starve or either try to find something to eat himself. And what my foster grandmother did was she would take rice, and under the rice she would put like a leaf, and under that leaf she would hide fish or so then later like my dad would have either something to eat or else my dad would either die. And then that was when my dad started to struggle, and what happens is that he felt like he wasn't appreciated at all. But the fact that he had the love of my foster grandmother, it was like that's all he needed. And then eventually after my parents met and got married, and they had like a very village-wise wedding, very poor wedding where it's like you can't afford a dress or anything. They've had a poor wedding, and that's when they had my two sisters, and I had a third sister, but she passed away. And after that was when they got to America. They sold all their gold and everything to come to America after staying in the Philippines for 6 months. They moved to, I believe, Sunnyvale, and that was when they met my dad's foster aunt, like of his foster mom. And that was when my parents were put up in a brutal position where my mom was pregnant with my brother, and it was almost her time of labor, and they got kicked out of the house, and they were basically homeless. And what happened was my uncle, or basically my cousin, stepped up, and he was 20-something years old, and he had a new wife. They stepped up to give my parents a home, and basically took my parents to take my mom to go to deliver my brother. And then after a while, like I ended up moving to my parents moved to San Jose, and that was when I soon later came out. And we lived in what everyone would call like a ghetto neighborhood, where it's like there was so much crimes that my mom would not let me walk home from school. It was that bad that if you turn around the corner, it's like someone will be shot up. And eventually, when my parents ended up starting to save up and knowing that there was the help of someone else out there, it came to the point where I could finally move out of that neighborhood and got to where I am today. But although my parents are struggling now, it's the fact that all of my siblings are trying to support my parents. It's all that matters. I'm currently taking as much honors classes as I can, trying to at least, because I know that my family currently right now, whereas even financially struggling, I don't mind going to a community college. So then I'm planning to go to Dianza and take all my regular courses there, then transfer to UC Irvine, then take my pharmacist degree.